Hello and welcome. It is 1800 hours and 27 minutes on the 1st of January 2022. I am based at the Elbe-Weser North Sea Triangle. This is part of the North Central European area. I still apologize for the lack of professionality as I am testing out the functions that I have available to record a video. Really, my sharings are MP3s, meaning audios or podcasts. So this is blue. And I will have to sneeze in a minute, I think. Excuse me. It seems when I come on to connect with the energy, there are a lot of reactions of my physical body to the intention of sharing my voice with you. I wanted to connect with the stillness today. Here in Europe, the transition from the 31st to the 1st, so the 31st December to the 1st of January, was, a lot of gusts of winds with stillness in between, which meant for me that I did not get much sleep. It was rather loud, these gusts of wind, and it wasn't cold though, unusually mild. I'm just getting focused on being present and the focus right now is to welcome the new year. We know it is not a full calendar, and we may be still in the days in between. As there were some days lost when they changed the calendar. And however, as many people celebrate the 1st of January, which is a 1-1, 2023, a 117. So a 9, but energetically speaking. So there is a new beginning, and I wanted to still honor this. We are in a new year numerologically, and we and many people celebrate it as a new year, and it gives them some hope. So this is to acknowledge this. Taking a breath. Yeah, today is about a visualization. So if you have a theme that has come up for you today, if this has to do with a feeling of uneasiness or unwellness, and if your animal, your pet experienced this, or the nature around you, or a loved one, or you yourself. And please, I am totally knowingly, knowingly mit G, that Earth will always and nature will always know how to realign itself, reestablish itself. And I have no doubt if this globe, this planet, wanted to, humanity could be just pass on. I know there are a lot of things that have happened, particularly in the last 150 years, that were rather not beneficial. And a lot of this has been lodged in our bodies, in our cells, in our memory, maybe genetically or epigenetically, or maybe recorded by the land and certainly by the animals. So the visualization today is that whatever it is that you feel is not in alignment, if you feel sad, or if somebody is not well around you, or if there is something in the land that feels inorganic, that we just focus on this. So I will focus on the area I reside on. And we have quite a lot of water because this area used to be ocean 1,000 years ago, and it is reclaimed land. And there are kind of polders, which are dry bits, and then there are small brooks or channels of water that regulate the drainage, and this all gets organized via a lock, and the lock is opened when it is too much. So here is rather a lot of water, which is in many ways a positive thing because one could grow a lot, but we face a monoculture. So maybe also if you're in a countryside, focusing on the industrial agriculture and feeling into the land and asking for a more biodynamic, sustainable way of being kinder to the land, putting less fertilizer on it, less antibiotics, which are often in the leftovers of intense animal stable farmings, and there may be some issues with the crops because the seeds are not really suitable for the area, and also it may be that you have only one sort or a handful of sort of grass that is used in intensive farming, or even something that is used for making biodiesel or biogas, whatever. Anyway, that food is used to create a form of heating instead of being used as food. And so there are already a lot of themes. And even if you live in the city area, there may be places where they use pesticides to get rid of so-called weeds. And there are many reasons one could ask for a more balanced nature and connect to the land or connect to a tree and ask this tree what it needs. And if you are in doubt what a tree or a nature area around you or the animals around you need, there's always the love to thank them for being there, being of service. And also, if you feel you need to asking forgiveness for our ignorance that maybe we personally cannot change, but the person that is in charge of that is slow is only driven by monetary gains, and it's no longer farming, it is industrial agriculture. And so this is part what is happening here. They're huge tractors that are far too big for the country lanes, and people rushing when they do the harvest, because it's not often the farmer doing it but a company, and they're paid for time and they have the machines, but these machines maybe are for big countrysides that are not really available here in Europe, and for some reason this bigger is better. So I am asking for a more balance and for the people involved in the agriculture to open their heart and get connected to the land and to the animals, because the way it is at the moment, they get paid for things that are not in line with what you would do if you would care about every single animal on your farm, or if you knew every single animal on your farm and give it a good life while it is alive with all the things it needs. So one of the things I notice here, that the cattle does not have shelter from wind or also sometimes rain or sun, because it's very flat countryside, and instead of having hedges in some parts of northern Germany, they're called Knicks, which is an area of shrubs and bushes and trees that used to mark the different parcels of land, and they were also used instead of having electric fences or barbed wire. Okay, and there's one thing coming up that Maybe we can ask for any barbed wire in any of our countryside across this globe where there is animals involved, to just stop this practice, please. So the natural way would be to have more hedges, more trees, more maybe what they call set aside areas where the animals can find shelter from too much sun, too much wind, or too much rain. Because when there is a tree and it is hot, then they all huddle under one. And also, these animals often are too many for the land that they occupy, and so there is stress on them. So I am also asking, please, for more of a connection to the needs of any animal that is kept outside. And at the same time, I'm also please asking for all the animals that are kept indoors and they don't get natural sunlight and they can't actually feel the earth under their extremities, that there will be shelter for them, but they can freely walk in and out. So they are not locked up. And at this time, I would like to thank any animal that is giving of them for humanity to sustain itself. We are not at this moment wishing to judge anybody. It would be just good when the practices are improved at this point, because we're going through a lot of upheaval and changes, and there is so much to be taken care of. And my heart speaks for the animal and nature, but there are also human beings, and particularly children, and also people who are economically lesser off, that are being exploited. And that is a different theme. But there's so much to do. So for today, I just wish to set the intention of improving things, for farmers to open the heart, and also for the policies for farming in each country to change, to become more local. And there's nothing wrong with sharing what you have too much, but there is something wrong in purely looking at the money side of things and not looking at the life force. Yeah, because we all come from one source. As life comes all from one source. Let's call it the galactic center. If all our hearts and beat and all our breath come from the same source, then yes, let's care better for the animal and also for the land. Let's find better ways, because for hundreds and thousands of years it was possible. And okay, I didn't think I was going to go into this, but let's also think about all the wastage of the overproduction that gets dumped. So please, let's find a solution for using surplus food, or don't even produce it. I mean, there are so many technology possibilities with software and simulation that we could understand what resources we need and how we actually use them. And those of you. Maybe you could support your local organic farmers or your local traditional farmers that really care and don't use chemicals and don't mistreat the land or the animals in favor to just looking at how much they can take. This is sadly what I look here, even though we have some. Oh, there's a lot look coming up from this area. I'm sorry, I didn't expect this. The next theme I need to address is that there are nature reserves and that they're allowed to hunt in these nature reserves, and that the traditional hunters seem to think they're doing a good job in doing that. And the fact that in some areas it is allowed to hunt domesticated animals. As a seen a threat to other wildlife, instead of maybe giving them the chance to be sterilized. Well, there are some really not nice practices, and as I said, I wanted to keep it as positive vision for the start, and I will address these themes, but for now I just like to please consider how many humans live and how much they spread, and that it is the fact that we've taken away so much of the countryside and the nature for our own use under the pretense that we need more, even though a lot of stuff doesn't does not get used as food. I'm sorry, there's a lot of anger coming from the land, so really, maybe this is what was in the winds. So really, the animals are asking for balance. The nature is asking for balance. There's enough abundance. There's enough abundance naturally in nature. There are no shortages in this area. There is just an ignorance and a misuse, and often things are not taken from the field because they maybe missed the right time and the market maybe has collapsed. There's too much of it, and then they just let it waste. And this is not really okay, because you could gift it. There are a lot of places that care for animals that have no home or that were rescued from people who maybe out of health or financial reason couldn't look after them, and one could just give that what is surplus. One can give back when for years and decades you had a good life, and if you have a home and you have food and you have people sharing and you can have a lot of the status symbols, you are rich in many ways, even though you may feel empty, but the emptiness is maybe because you're not connected to your heart. Maybe it is time to open this. So I would just like to urge you to feel into it. Okay, I wasn't aware there is quite a lot of turmoil in the elements. Okay, but we would like to have the vision of a lovely, balanced, respected, honored, and multitude of animals and nature plants in our green areas. Whether you're in a city or you're in the countryside, it doesn't matter. We need more than just one color of green or one color of yellow, and we need diversity because Earth is not just for us. We share it, and it lifts my heart for any wild animal or any animal that I see, or any tree that blossoms. I know we are in winter, but nature sleeps, but nature is still there. So, and we are asking for a balance of the elements. For some reason, it feels that 2023 is a water year. That the element of water seems to be very strong, and so we would like to balance this with all the other elements. Okay, now we come to the animals themselves. So if you have wild animals around you, and I know some people feel there are maybe too many in some areas, I personally don't. I feel we have too many cars and we have too many roads and we have too many ignorant humans who don't even think about it, that our lifestyle diminishes nature. And I'm not talking about any of the climate issues. I mean simply that there is hardly a piece of connected land where there is not a road or there is not some forestry or some farming going on. And yes, and I would like at this point to call for more cycle path, to call for more walking path, and I'm to call for more riding path. And I mean real cycles, not e-bikes. It's up to you, but I mean areas where you can safely go with your entire family, never mind what age and ability, including walking your dogs and walking your horses and going with small children and going with elderly family members, and you feel safe. I'm asking for more integration of non-mechanic, I mean where people actually want to walk or want to even do cross-country skiing or inliners or roller skates or something like that, something that you can do. But maybe also you would like to walk or ride your horse and it is safe. So please, I am asking in this area and anywhere else where you feel it would be beneficial to do natural walking paths. It does not always mean you have to put tar or stones on it. There are places where you can use natural materials, and there are resources to restore them after each winter in case there are damages. But I think the health of humans and also the health of the community, because sometimes it has to do with being able to walk on a path or a road to get to somebody else. And also, you don't always have to take a car. There are other forms of visiting each other or even exchanging goods in a small, personal, local a regional way where there are points where people meet for markets and so on, or there are some open street cooking or soup kitchens. Anyhow, it's just to do with these old, in Spanish they're called cañadas, which are where the herds were walked to their paddocks, or to their fields and to their meadows, and or back home, where they spend time grazing and then going into the stable depending on the weather and season. And it's basically the Allmende. I think this is an old Germanic word or High German word, or Old German word, or what you also call the commons. And these used to be land that belonged to everybody, but everybody cared for it. And I am asking for a balanced use, so that people start being more conscious of sharing as caring, and not just abusing things because you can, because maybe you have more knowledge, more take out more usage. So this is about sharing the resources. So this has come up to interesting, but so a more direct connection to the immediate nature around where we live, and integrating public and private spaces to have a network of walk, cycle, and riding ways. There are some of those that go across the whole of Europe, and you can do all three things. And there's something about the pace and being close to the ground. I would welcome if we had more of these long distance walkways that are connected, where people can meet. Okay, now going to the animals that live with you very closely, the pets, all of them. So please visualize how the healthiest, happiest, most content animal would look like. And the animals that live with me, there are some things I would like to ask for too. Companionship, restoring the blueprint of health, because some of them have had experiences where they have lost part of their health and they are restoring it, but sometimes this comes up. I'm asking for a strong immune system. And I noticed that in 2022, there were a lot of waves of parasites, internal and external, that one can treat with a certain plant or homeopathy. And I just would like to ask for our pets and domesticated animals to have a strong immune system, and that you look into this, because it's a theme. How many chemicals do you have to put into your pet because others say so? There is no need to make yearly things that put directly into the body. You know what I mean? I will go into this, because there is a natural immunity that is passed on from the parents to the offspring. And if you have a strong mother and father, and You're giving all the nutrients that they need, then you have strong babies, and there's no need for external um, inorganic chemicals that are created after the last big world war, when immunity was low and animals were seen as carriers of parasites naturally. The point is, what really is negative? If our body is made up of millions of positive things that help us digest, and I'm not using these words right now because the fact is the balance, yeah. And the point is, internal or external parasites means there is an inorganic force that invades, because it is natural for any body to have a healthy blueprint and to have a healthy immune system, that with the different stages of the immune system, it does not come to an infection or a disease, or an infection is not the right word, an invasion of too many of those baddies, let's call it that way, because they may itch or they may grow inside. But a healthy animal, there is no chance, and you can help this with